Josh, North this weekend, the final last year, they're coming off a win. Are you expecting a side that's got a bit to prove?
Oh, I'm expecting a really tough contest. You saw their game last week. I think they had over 90 tackles. They're a really fierce side, and we're not expecting anything less.
The midfield, a few of their guys, in terms of like rankings points and things like that, they haven't really stacked up this year. Do you guys look at that as an area that you can possibly exploit or something like that?
Not really. We look at their midfield and know that they've got a lot of good players that can go through there. But we think we match up pretty well. We back our guys that are going to rotate through the midfield, and we think it's going to be a good battle and one that often can determine the outcome of the game.
So you guys are going for 6 in a row, I think, this weekend. But do you feel as though you've been right at your best the last couple of weeks? You won comfortably, but have you been at your real best?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I think in patches we have. Obviously, in patches in the last couple of weeks we haven't. We probably haven't played a good 4-quarter effort against Carlton and Gold Coast. But we'll need to this week against a good opposition in North. So hopefully we can put that together this weekend and get a good win.
How do you see sort of your role? You've been posting sort of similar numbers for probably 3-4 years now. You've got a lot of guys coming out, Tom Mitchell, and you think you've got Craig Bird playing back in the seconds. There's a bit of depth in that midfield. Have you changed your game at all to accommodate some of these guys developing at all? Or?
It's a good question. I think we spend a lot more time in different positions. A lot of guys. We have a lot of guys that can rotate through the midfield now, a lot more than perhaps a couple of years ago, which is great because it makes us a bit less predictable. But I think for me, I just want to keep playing to my strengths, which is inside and keep hunting the footy. So I think the last couple of weeks I've been a bit quiet, but hopefully I can get back to that this weekend. But it's great to see that young guys are coming in like Tommy, and Parksy just keeps getting better each week. So he's a great player anyway. But guys like Tommy and guys that are coming up from the reserves to be able to come in and have an immediate impact the way that they are is great for our side.
Can you give us a description of just how important it is to have those extra numbers in the midfield? Because I guess we saw with Hawthorn last year, they had so many guys who could go through. It makes sense to make a big impact.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think, as I said, it takes away that, I guess, our predictability a little bit when you can rotate a lot of guys through there, and not just in the midfield but up forward as well. If we can get a different look forward line as well, I guess it just helps throughout the course of a game and throughout the course of a year, just showing different looks and being a little less predictable.
Yeah, we've seen Luke Parker's played a bit more time forward instead of maybe resting as much on the bench. Is something you'd like to, I guess, get into your game as well, like spend a bit more time forward when you're not in the midfield? It sounds a pretty good size as well.
Yeah, I think it's something that I probably have been doing a little bit this year, and could do it more. But as I said earlier, I don't want to take away from my strength, which is inside. You always want to look to develop your game and improve in areas, which I want to do. So if that's going forward, if that's what Horse and the coaching staff want, then I'm happy to do it. But I want to make sure that the crux of my game inside and around the footies is up to the level it should be.
Josh, we've seen in the last few weeks a situation with Adam Goodes getting booed. Jack Ziebell yesterday said that he hoped North Melbourne fans don't do that. What do you think that says about the situation when you've got an opposition player having to say that about a dual Brownlow medalist and Australian of the Year?
Yeah, I think it's great from him that he's come out and said it, and I think Jordan Lewis did a week or two ago as well, which is great. So, but from our point of view, we can't really think too much about it or control it. We just got to support Goodsy on the field, get around him as much as we can. His form's been fantastic the last few weeks after a challenging start to the year. So it is great to see him, back and really contributing to the team. And I think just from our point of view, we've got to support him as much as we can on the field and of course off it, but more so on Saturday on the field.
Should opposition players be having to say that?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think it's as I said, it's not something we can control. We got to try and support Adam and not think too much about that. Let the powers that be worry about that sort of stuff. And as I said, it's good to hear him say it, but we'd like for it not to be an issue and it'd be a bit less of an issue, I guess, going forward. But
Dan Hennebury is having a bit of a blinder this year. How do you play alongside him? How have you seen him come along this year? Do you think he's gone to a next level? He's been pretty strong for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Hannah's has gone to the next level. I think his consistency week to week is I guess brought that on, and the way that he's playing and the intensity that he's had around the contest at the ball and his running has just been fantastic, and he's really led from the front this year. I don't think he's had one bad game, so he's really taken his pre-season into the season, and it's great to see.
Obviously, you guys got to the big one last year and came up a fair bit short. Do you feel like you're better placed this year in terms of the depth and the guys producing week in, week out?
Again, not something that we'd really think about too far ahead of the season. We think that we've got a good mix at the moment, but we felt that we were pretty in a good position last year too. The way that we finished the season and the game against North leading into the grand final. So don't think too much about it. Just you start doing that and you can become a little bit complacent. So we'll just worry about this week, as cliche as it sounds, and try and bring our best there and put a 4-quarter effort together and hopefully get a win.
Have the bye after this week. How much better is it going to that little break with a win rather than a loss?
Yeah, it's obviously makes it a lot more enjoyable, and I think you really set yourself for these games knowing that you've got the week off, because you don't want to be sitting around for 2 weeks stewing over a game that could have been or something that you could have done. So it makes it a big game, and we want to really set ourselves and then be able to go into the bye and relax with a win under our belt.
North are hot one day, cold the next. How have you prepared this week for them?
We prepare as though I guess they're going to be hot. Because the way that they played last week, their intensity around the contest, their tackling pressure was ferocious, and it was over the course of the 4 quarters. And we probably haven't done that the last 2 weeks, and we'll need to. So that's I guess what we're preparing for.
Externally, looking from afar, people have a look at the Swans midfield and they probably rate you as maybe the best midfielder. Dan's form this year, I mean, does that get you a little, I guess, competitive pride within yourself? Does he, like his form, make you want extra motivation to get better as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely wrapped for Dan though. He's working hard and he's playing well, and we're winning, which is the main thing. So that's, I guess, the first and foremost thing that you worry about. But we at training during the week, you're always putting yourselves against each other and pushing each other to get better, and that's part of being at a football club and part of being a professional athlete, always wanting to get better and challenging yourself against the best. And he's at the top of his game at the moment, so he's he's one of the best in the comp so far this year, so it is good to see.
Speaking of one of your teammates, Tom Mitchell's really gone to another level again as well. What have you noticed that's different about the Tom Mitchell from previous seasons to what we're seeing now?
Well, I think first of all he's had a good run with injuries. He had a full pre-season, was able to attack the year. Could have come in any stage throughout the year and had an impact, but had to bide his time a little bit. Now he's being able to adapt to a few different roles, whether it's inside, outside. He's had a couple of run withs at different stages throughout games, and he's just relishing the challenge. He's ready-made now, and he's looks very comfortable at the senior level. And
you know what it's like to actually struggle for games early on in your career. What does that do to you and Tom sort of later on when you actually do get your spot?
It's a good question. I think in this environment, and we saw with Goodsy earlier in the year after 320 odd games and a couple of Brownlows, you're never really comfortable in your position. You always feel like you've got something to prove, always feeling like there's guys, and we have guys in the twos that are ready to come in and take your spot at any stage. So it just keeps you on your toes, keeps you motivated and wanting to bring your best every week.
I feel like the depth at the clubs, especially in the midfield, is as good as it's been in your time here at the Swans?
Yeah, it could be. I think I just think the way that the players have come in this year and had an impact that they have says a lot for the way that they're being coached in the reserves and the way they apply themselves in the twos to be able to come in and have that impact, which is really good to see.
Talk about the competitiveness between the midfielders. Is there any sort of banter about the numbers that you post or anything like that? We saw Buddy got some donuts thrown in his locker when he kicked that goal. Anything like that with the midfield?
No, not really. As I said, we're enjoying all getting a piece of the action and winning. That's the most important thing. The fact that we've been winning the last few weeks is makes life a lot easier and a bit more enjoyable. So, not really. I'm not sure about those donuts either. I'm not sure how true that was, to be honest.